Two of the NHL's best stories of the new season come together tonight on the ice at Phillips Arena. For the visiting Flyers, their complete team effort has resulted in the league's best record. This team is hitting on all cylinders, having perfectly combined their new acquisitions and veteran players. The hometown Thrashers have bonded together after off-season tragedy to post the best start in franchise history, led by one of the league's newest superstars. It's the Flyers and the Thrashers next on ESPN2. For the first time this season, the NHL on ESPN2 visits Phillips Arena in Atlanta, Georgia to match up the NHL's best overall team, the Philadelphia Flyers, against the surprising Atlanta Thrashers. Hello again, everyone. Welcome to downtown Atlanta, Georgia. Glad you could join us. And happy holidays, Dave Ryan, Brian Englund. The Flyers. Shocking stories this year has been the Atlanta Thrashers, first place in the Southeast Division, despite the fact the tragic loss of Daniel Snyder to start the season. And Danny Heatley, 41-goal scorer last year, hasn't played a single game this season. But Ilya Kovalchuk just continues to be amazing.
Ilya Kovalchuk is one of the most dynamic players in the National Hockey League. He is so much fun to watch. He won 4 straight games without a point. Then he promptly went into Pittsburgh last night and got 5 points. He's tied for second in overall points in the National Hockey League. He's tied for first in goals with 20. You watch him, folks. Every time he's got the puck, he's got a chance to go to the net. This kid loves to shoot and score.
There's a reason the Thrashers have played so well. Run and gun offense for them against the Philadelphia Flyers with their patriotic flavor led by LeClaire, Amonte, and JR. Jeremy Roenick. USA-born stars against the Thrashers when we return. Centennial Park, just a few minutes from where we are here at Phillips Arena in downtown Atlanta, Georgia. Dressed so nicely for the holidays, and a big crowd on hand, mostly to watch Ilya Kovalchuk, this superstar for these Atlanta Thrashers, who had another big night last night, 5 points. He and Mark Savard lighting up the Pittsburgh Penguins in a 7-4 win.
If you haven't seen this kid play much, folks, just sit down, take a chair, and watch. One of the great young talents in the National Hockey League. Terrific to watch. Nobody's told him that there are traps out there and there are defenses. He just takes it and goes, steps on the gas pedal all the way.
Atlanta in the blue sweaters, and the Flyers in what used to be the home whites now wearing these unis on the road, as is the custom this year in the NHL. We are underway. Each team in first place in their respective divisions. You see the players not available tonight. Jeff Cowan and, of course, Danny Heatley, as we mentioned, may be skating in the next week or so. This past week, he was supposed to skate for the first time since the tragic accident, but had a little bit of a setback in the knee recovery.
And what it'll mean to Atlanta to get back Danny Heatley will be unimaginable. He was Rookie of the Year 2 years ago, of course, has tremendous talent. And whenever he gets back, it'll be great for the Atlanta Thrashers.
Got it, Exelby, young defenseman, too, in the blue sweater, trying to carry it in. Instead, it's intercepted. Jim Vandermeer is pulled down. No call, though, from either referee. 2 goals for him in a win yesterday over the Islanders. His first ever multi-point game. And he's creating here to begin this tilt. Kapanen in front with a backhand try. And it's shut down by Byron Defoe in the nets for Atlanta tonight.
The Philadelphia Flyers would like to try to hem Atlanta in their zone. They are a high-energy team. Ken Hitchcock told me this morning, if we can keep them in their zone, especially after them scoring, Atlanta scoring 7 goals last night. Whoa!
A giveaway and a goal! Petrovinsky gets a gift, and Ronald won't miss from there. 1-0 Thrashers.
Sometimes strange things happen. This is a pure gift. Look at Hackett try to handle this puck. It just completely gets away from him. And to talk about being at the right place, Ronald Petrovinsky comes in, a gaping empty net. Southwest Airlines is going to show you just how empty it is. Hackett tries to get back in time and just has no chance. You don't see that happen very often. The puck just seemed to jump off of Hackett's stick, and then he mishandled it one more time, gave it right to Petrovinsky.
Going to help her last night in the win over Pittsburgh. Petrovinsky, Brian, scored 8 seconds into the game last night. It was the fastest ever goal in Thrashers history, and here he scores.
You got to get him out there early.
A minute 30 into this game at 1:29. What a gift goal for Petrovinsky. His 9th of the year. And it's second in 2 nights.
This is exactly what Philadelphia didn't want to happen. I really think that Atlanta is a real momentum team, and now when they get momentum here at home in a game like this against the Philadelphia Flyers, where they're trying to measure themselves, and they get a gift goal like that, coming off of 7 goals that they scored last night against the Pittsburgh Penguins, you watch this Atlanta team go right now. In this replay of the goal, you can see that Vandermeer was the man who was on Petrovitsky, number 23 White, but he just stood there for a minute because he just never ever dreamed that the puck was going to get turned over like that.
Ronald Petrovitsky, Brian, is 5th in the NHL in shooting percentage, and the number is going to go up thanks to that.
Yeah.
That's the kind of shot on goal you like to raise the stat on. And quickly, offensive zone, another good chance for Atlanta. On the move, Ben Simon with the opportunity is shut down by Jeff Hackett, and we have got a call.
Yeah, it looks like we're going to get a slashing call against the Flyers. The Flyers are a little bit back on their heels now. The Thrashers did a good job. They're attacking through the neutral zone. It was Ben Simon who ended up knifing right through the middle. Look at the gap between the Philadelphia defensemen. You don't see that very often. That's Weinrich and Janssen, 2 very stable, stay-at-home kind of guys who know how to play good defense. That just doesn't happen very often. And Simon just darted right up and through, and Hackett saved them on that one.
So Janssen into the bin for the next 2. Slashing minor first power play of the game for either team. And what a start for the host Atlanta Thrashers, making their NHL on ESPN2 debut here tonight. Their power play leaders happen to be the best in the NHL. Here's Savard, offensive zone with a chance. And it's shut down by a sliding Jeff Hackett on the power play. Marc Savard, who lit up the Penguins last night for a goal and 4 assists, tying a career best.
Marc Savard has been brilliant for Atlanta this year. Look at this pass from the blue line. Cabriolet right on the tape. And again, a different defense pair for the Philadelphia Flyers, caught napping. They're looking up the ice. Savard was going laterally right along the blue line. He got the puck right in stride and cut in behind. So 2 open chances here for the Atlanta Thrashers in consecutive shifts.
Kovalchuk is on the left point, Brian. That's dangerous, certainly, for Philadelphia. It's not that common to see a forward play the point on the power play.
Exactly. Well, he loves to shoot. In fact, Kovalchuk is the #1 shooter in the National Hockey League. He gets it. He wants to shoot. He's dangerous back there. He's creative, and you want that creativity back on the blue line where you have more room to work.
154 shots coming in for Kovalchuk. This is Savard outside the left circle. Ilya Kovalchuk, 17 in blue, has 11 power play goals to lead the NHL this year. They have been a spectacular team offensively with all sorts of firepower and have a 1-0 lead here.
This is a funny team because they ride the roller coaster in wins and losses, and also when it comes to scoring. Look at that, 3 previous games at the bottom line there, 0 goals. Last night they broke out of it in a big way, and it's their big guys. They're big guys that always lead them when it comes to the scoring. You got Kovalchuk, Kozlov, and Savard, and you just saw Savard have that last chance coming in at even strength drawing that penalty. So those are the guys to keep an eye on. 9, 17, and 13 for Atlanta. They're the ones, especially in power play. Those 3 guys combined for 9 points just on the power play last night, as Atlanta was 3 for 6 on the power play against Pittsburgh.
Jay Shares, Brad Watson are the referees tonight. Michael Cormier and Pierre Racicot, the linesmen. Our on-ice officiating crew is working on the crease area. Patrick Stefan, another one of the high draft picks for Don Waddell here in Atlanta, thrown out of the circle. In front, Stefan, 2 good opportunities, is shut down by Hackett on the doorstep. Frank Cabriolet having a great season. A tip goes just wide. By Petrovitsky, he's got one already. Ronald trying to track it down. Here's Stefan, who a couple years back was the #1 overall pick, the Thrashers' first ever draft pick. This their 5th season in the NHL. And as we mentioned, leading the Southeast Division after busting out for 7 tallies against the Pens last night. Trying for the first ever time to make the playoffs. Here's a good reason. On the move. Look at the burst by Kovalchuk. Centered in front, but tipped just wide by Randy Robitaille. What a burst of speed by Ilya Kovalchuk. That's why he was the #1 pick a couple years back.
Exactly, and that's what I was talking about. The kid is just dynamic. That's the first word that jumps in my head when I think about him. You saw it. He steps on the gas every time he gets the puck. He went through the whole team there.
Can he have the skate? Impressive. Centering, trying no one home. Savard trying to tee it up. McEachern, the captain for Atlanta, trying to set him up.
And it's the Philadelphia Flyers who played yesterday afternoon and won in New York on the island. They're the ones that are back on their heels right now, and they're getting another penalty.
Here's Yannick Tremblay. Offensive zone delay penalty call here. Exelby lets it go through. Touch up by the Flyers just moments after Kim Janssen hopped out of the box following his slashing minor. They're going to be shorthanded again.
Well, we'll get a chance to see this guy probably go end-to-end a couple of times in this game. I want to show you that last shift. Now, this is on the power play. 17 comes back and picks it up. Look at that glow in the back. That's the afterburners right here. They start to kick in. But look at the eye-hand coordination. As his feet are changing directions and he's going side to side, his hand speed. It's typical of Russian and European players in particular, but just beautiful stuff to watch. 20 goals, tied for first in the National Hockey League after scoring 2 last night. He actually hadn't scored a goal in 8 straight games before that.
Just behind Robert Lang of Washington for overall point lead in the NHL right now. Lang 42 points coming in. And Ilya Kovalchuk has 40, 20 goals, 20 helpers. Had 3 shots in the first power play try. And now just over 5 minutes into our first period, the players whistle down offside. NHL on ESPN2, Detroit, Chicago next Sunday. It's coming away with Brett Hall, who just recently became the 3rd all-time leading goal scorer in NHL history against the Chicago Blackhawks. An original 6 rivalry you do not want to miss. Plus the NHL tonight follows the game. It all comes your way next Sunday, 7 Eastern. For more, log on to ESPN.com. Another power play just moments after the Flyers are able to kill off the last. 3 more in for roughing. Just under 90 ticks remaining in the man advantage. Look at Kovalchuk skate again. Stick handle through traffic.
Oh, she got moved.
It is unbelievable.
Some of them are really subtle, and some of them are just so obvious and so smooth. That's why they work.
McEachern to Savard. Center and try. Here's Kovalchuk. Fakes the shot, then puts it on that tip just wide by Sean McEachern. Kept alive by Frank Caberlet outside the left circle at that left point. McEachern for Savard. That's Caberlet has had a great season as well. Full stick stop by Hackett. Off the end boards, and Hanzus tries to clear out. They finally do. Justin Williams on the move, short-handed, tries to give and go. Approach to Kovalchuk. And in the corner, he'll kill off some power play time under 40 seconds remaining in the man advantage.
This is all valuable time wasting away for the Flyers offensive guys, too, because they gave up that goal. The team was shaken. Now 2 consecutive penalty-killing situations for the Flyers, and all their good skill guys are sitting on the bench getting colder and colder.
Patrick Stepan on the move. Goal for him last night. Stepan is 5th of the year, scored in Pittsburgh. Petrovitsky has the tally so far for Atlanta, picked off by Simon Gagne. In the final 5 seconds now, the power play try for Atlanta. Petrovitsky tries to stand him up, made a nice play and cause a turnover. Yannick Tremblay, former Maple Leaf property. His shot off the end boards, picked up by Ragnarsson, the ex-San Jose Shark, who came last year in the trade. 1 shot on that power play, so 4 total in the 2 power play tries, but nothing to show for a couple of early man advantage attempts.
And this makes 13 straight games that the Philadelphia Flyers have given up the first goal in the game.
Isn't that something?
Oh, for a team that's tied for first overall, usually when you keep doing that, it's a sign of a team that's in a bad tailspin. And Philadelphia, granted, has not played as well lately, and their record shows it, but still, they're tied with the Toronto Maple Leafs for the best record in the league. 13 straight games giving up the first goal.
Yesterday for the Islanders, Brian, it was Alexei Yashin scoring the first tally. The icebreaker here, it's Petrovitsky, and that play is whistled down. A hand pass call, 12:30 to go in the opening period.
And speaking of Ronald Petrovitsky, he got an absolutely freebie here as Philadelphia got all crossed up, and Atlanta's happy. Will it continue?
It is so amazing to think that the Thrashers have excelled to the point of leading their division with the loss of Dan Snyder, a young centerman from Elmira, Ontario, Canada, just 25 years old when he tragically was killed in a car accident involving Danny Heatley, who was rehabbing his extensive injuries from that mishap. Well, people we talked to with the Thrashers say Snyder was a great young man, a hard worker who was a free agent, not a high draft pick, blue-collar type player who had great character, added so much to this team.
You bet. They will never forget him here, and it's just amazing how well this team has done in the face of everything that happened to him at the start of the season. Still the story of the National Hockey League to this point, undoubtedly in my mind.
Let's head to the studio now. John Butchergrass.
What Gord Downey is to the tragically hip, the tragically Kip Miller is to the Capitals. Already up 2-1 on the power play. Capitals move it around, and ever since Glenn Helland's taken over as head coach, they've played well. Caps lead the Isles 3-1.
John, you're right about that. Since Bruce Cassidy was fired earlier in December, Caps have been playing very well, trying to get themselves out of the cellar in the Southeast Division, led by these Atlanta Thrashers. They come in, the Caps just 24 points. Not had a good season for them, but they are trying to turn around under a brand new coach. Good chance as Kapanen charging in offensively. One-timer. Mark Recchi trying to get the offense in gear here for Philadelphia. Not put a whole lot of pressure so far. And Byron Defoe in the nets for Atlanta tonight. Pasi Nurminen, the native of Finland, played last night. The 7-4 win in Pittsburgh for the Thrashers. Tossed in by Weinrich. He'll peel off on a change. Here's Kapanen. Little burst. Shot goes wide to the left of Defoe. Kept in by Desjardins and Sami Kapanen. They'll try to track it down. Ken Hitchcock very pleased with the defensive role Kapanen has taken on this year since his trade from Carolina. Has fitted nicely in this style of Philadelphia.
And they've moved Sami Kapanen sometimes from the left side, sometimes he's on the right side. He's a versatile guy. They were trying to get him going offensively too. He had a good start to the season, but he hasn't done as well lately. He's not the only one in that book for Philadelphia.
Jean-Pierre Vigier carrying through the neutral zone, and the play is whistled down last moment offside.
Well, Jeff Hackett is in goal tonight because Robert Esch came back yesterday and played their home game. Jeff Hackett went through kind of a bad stretch here, and he actually called himself out and said, I have to play way better. I just haven't come up to snuff the way I should have, especially when that man, Robert Esch, was gone with a groin injury for 7 games. Jeff Hackett ended up with only 1 win during that time. He had a couple of overtime losses, mind you. And of course, the Flyer team wasn't playing as well as they had earlier in the season either. But Hackett knows that he has to play better, especially in big games. He felt like he didn't step up and do the job he was supposed to.
Slava Kozlov centering try, deflected in the low slot, picked off by Tony Amani at center ice. He'll spin the puck in the offensive zone. Regain far side on the half boards. Kozlov will whack at it, and it comes out towards center. Oh! Travitsky, and again some trouble for Hackett, who twice has struggled with a puck. Off the end boards, a crazy bounce nearly cost Philly dearly again.
Well, he's putting pressure on himself to play better, and he gave the puck away on the first goal. He knows it, so now he's uptight, even though he's, oh, here we go, behind the play is going to be the first fight of the night.
Vandermeer is going to go at it with Petrovitsky, who is not at all known as a fighter. Not sure why he's squaring off here. And you can tell how awkward he's trying to stand in this scrap, that he's overmatched badly by Jim Vandermeer.
Absolutely, and that's why the linesman got in right away. If one guy is losing badly, the linesmen don't stand back and just let him go. Ronald Petrovitsky is not the type of guy that usually drops the gloves. You're absolutely right, Dave. It started behind the play, but everybody's blood is up here right now. Jeff Hackett's is really up because things like this keep happening.
Well, I had a chance to visit this morning with Jim Vandermeer on the right. And Petrovitsky both in for fighting. Vandermeer was so excited he got about 9-10 cell phone messages after his first ever 2-goal game. He didn't mention fighting, though, as part of the follow-up from his huge offensive explosion last night.
Yeah, no kidding. Good. Congratulations to him. 2-goal game for anybody in the National Hockey League, let alone anybody as young as Vandermeer playing defense.
Those two will be in the bin for the next 5 each. Ragnarsson cross ice for Recchi. 35 years old, continues to excel. Had a good offensive year for Philly. And what, for the most part, is a defensive-minded system for Coach Ken Hitchcock. Cross ice for Williams, lost the handle. A crazy bounce off that far wall. And bounces have not hurt Atlanta much in the early going. Quite to the contrary, with some great opportunities. One cashed in by Petrovitsky. He's the goal scorer. That's why it's a 1-0 Atlanta lead. Absolute gift of a goal. Robitaille lost his footing. The captain, Keith Primo, regained at center. Then another giveaway for Vigier. J.P. Vigier Kovalchuk with a great speed, almost too fast for his own good as the play is offside.
Well, for Jeff Hackett, more bad things have happened to him when he's left the crease and gone out of the net than really what's happened in the net. This is how the first goal of the game happened. It was just a mishandle. Then he came out to stop the puck along the end boards, but it hit something in the glass and went right through the crease, and he fell down trying to get back. So here's a guy trying to get his game back. Do you think he wants to leave that crease area? I think he's going to have to, but he's nervous right now. I don't care how long you've been in the National Hockey League. At any position, when you're having a night like that, it's tough.
Radovan Somek picks it up right wing. Here's scooted to the offensive zone. Todd Fedoruk, the enforcer on the ice tonight for Philadelphia. It's called the fridge for a reason. 6'3", 230 pounds. He and Brashear on the same line. Talk about toughness as Donald Brashear throws the weight around. It's got to be fun for Somek to play out there with those two tough guys. Yeah. Very little chance you're going to get messed with.
Yeah, you'll get some room out there, no doubt.
Brashear tries to create behind the goal. Here's Chris Tamer. Coming here from Phillips Arena, downtown Atlanta, Georgia. Dave Ryan, Brian Engblom, our entire crew. It's the NHL on ESPN2. First appearance for the Atlanta Thrashers from their home building. Petrovitsky has scored his 9th on a giveaway by the goaltender Jeff Hackett early.
Well, they've talked a lot about goaltending over the years for the Philadelphia Flyers. There's always a lot of pressure on them. They're expected to be in the running for the Stanley Cup every year. You look at Detroit, Colorado, and New Jersey over the last few years, and the Flyers. The Flyers are the only team that has not won a Stanley Cup, and the Flyers have been eliminated in the first or second round 6 of the last 8 years. But I think goaltending has actually been very solid this year. Hackett, although he's struggling tonight, he's done really well. I mean, he's had a good year for them so far. Robert Esch has had a real good year for them so far. I think this Philadelphia Flyers team has a definite different feeling than they've had the last 2 or 3 years, and I don't think they're worried about their goaltending going into it.
Big subject this morning, Ken Hitchcock with the media. Was that player's whistle down offside? Monik off to the LA Kings. Did he have the mental toughness after tough losses to overcome that? And Hitchcock, in speaking with us, Brian, really feels confident about his 2 netminders because he's so much into the mental approach that these are the right guys for the job.
Yeah, and Hitch said a lot of things this morning. He always does. Hitch has got more answers than you've got questions. I love to talk to the guy. He said his team is really tired right now, and I think that's showing. They're mentally tired out there right now. But what they're doing is forcing Atlanta to some offsides at their blue line because they're getting over anxious. But Hitch said they're playing their 12th game here tonight in the month of November. They got 4 more. 16 games in 1 month is a heck of a lot. That's 2 or 3 at least beyond average. And he said with a few injuries here and there and the fatigue of the top guys, his team is not exactly on the same situation they were early in the year. He said he called it survival mode right now.
Now here in December, they begin the 8-game road trip after playing at Wachovia Center last night and beating the Islanders. Now the power play. Tamer in on sportsmanlike conduct call. And the Flyers have been hot with a power play. First overall in the NHL, JR, Jeremy Roenick, a good reason. A snapshot in the near circle. The puck was touched by a high stick in the offensive zone, but it clears out, and that waves off any call. Here's Kim Janssen. One rear guard here. Look out, some communication issues there. His little crisscross almost ended in disaster. Ragnarsson and Roenick just about collided, and that just about caused a giveaway as it's cleared down ice nicely by Vigier.
There's some munchkins or something out there in that Philadelphia zone. There's some wacky things going on out there, folks. I don't know what it is. That near collision right in front of the Philadelphia net would easily have turned into the next goal.
Yesterday's win of the Islanders, 30th power play goal of the year scored by Philly. It took until February 20th of last season to get that many power play tallies. So they have been red hot with a man advantage, trying to get the equalizer here tonight in Atlanta. Here's Jardin at one point. Here's Janssen. Cross ice feed, Kapanen outside the right circle. Just under 30 to go in this power play try. Down low, looking for Williams is Primo, trying to slide it across the crease. Broken up in the low slot first. And they can't tee up a shot. Broken stick for Atlanta. And JP Vigier trying to clear, can't send it out though in the final moments of this power play. Kapanen far circle. Stick held up. Janssen can't hold it in. And it slides out through the neutral zone.
Well, Flyers really struggling at this point to handle the puck, and it's understandable the way this first period has gone. The power play really never got anything going, and now it's over. It is a much improved power play, first in the National Hockey League. Last year at this point, they were 27th in the league.
Big improvement. One shot on the last power play try for Philly. Amani trying to hold it in. There's a broken stick, actually 2 loose sticks. As Exelby lost his lumber. And the defenseman has got Robitaille on the move for Kovalchuk. Had it teed up between the circles on the one-timer. Last moment deflected away by the Flyers. Philly goes the other way with it. Shot by Weinrich. Deflected wide over the left shoulder of Byron Defoe. Leclerc a battle. Has Amani out front. Hansu centers this line. Plenty of firepower for Philly. You can't imagine how fast Kovalchuk is until you watch him in person. On TV, it's a different story. He has got mind-boggling speed.
There's some guys that skate so smoothly you don't know how fast they're going, but Kovalchuk looks fast when he's skating.
And can pass. Headman feed, perfect touch to Robitaille, but they all peel off on a change. Somek. Bangering near boards. Rashier keeps the play alive. Somek out there with Fedoruk. It's the power line for Philadelphia. These guys will make plenty of contact and stir it up. Establish a forecheck, and if you don't like it, too bad.
It's really, yeah, no kidding. It's really tough on the defenseman, and again, they're out there against Tamer and Tremblay, same as last time. They'll soften those guys up before long if they keep out there against the same group.
Not out of play stoppage. The loose stick is still there. Here's Fedoruk behind the net trying to jam it in. Loose puck in front. Somek trying to tip it home, and it's stopped by Byron Defoe right on the doorstep. Radovan Somek, good opportunity, looking for the equalizer. Thrashers enjoy a lead. Actor Aaron Eckhart is here in Atlanta, starring in the brand new movie with Ben Affleck, Paycheck, and it comes out on Christmas Day. We're going to have the pleasure of a visit here in the booth with Aaron Eckhart, who's also starring in The Missing opposite Tommy Lee Jones and Kate Blanchett. Suspect 0 as well. It's a 1-0 game, and talking of 0, Savard trying to change all that. A couple of great opportunities, fist flying in front with Kozlov, and play is finally stopped. Looks like 2 players may be going to the penalty box. Lots of contact, and Hackett is still down.
I'm telling you, there's gremlins. There's something going on in that Philadelphia zone, and Jeff Hackett wants them out now. But the good news for the Flyers is Slava Kozlov has gone to the penalty box. But again, just turnovers, and the players are just not handling the puck very well. This is a good forecheck. That was Savard that got in there. Kozlov got handcuffed a little bit by that. It was on his backhand a little bit. He tried to shovel it. And here's Hackett. Let's see why he got shook up a little bit. He was doing snow angels. He was knocking the puck out of the air. And I think he just sort of frustrated. He doesn't look like Hackett's injured anymore. There's Slava Kozlov in the penalty box.
4-on-4 hockey for the next 2 minutes. Coincidental roughing minors to Weinrich and Slava Kozlov. Saw Savard with a great steal a moment ago. Had an incredible game last night with a goal and 4 helpers against Pittsburgh. Last 2 games he's had against the Pens. 2 goals, 8 points for Mark Savard. He should play them every night.
Mark Savard has been awesome for Atlanta this year. Ever since they picked him up last year, as a matter of fact, he's a point-a-game guy.
Exelby takes it right back for Atlanta. 4-on-4 hockey here at Phillips Arena.
Well, you would think of the mindset of the Thrashers, who've had most of the offense and most of the chances in this game, that they would be aggressive in the 4-on-4 and Philly would sit back, but we'll see how that goes. Let's go to the studio and John Butchergroth. John.
Brian, you guys have some very good American-made players in your game. Here's one. Mark Parrish won a state championship in high school in Minnesota. Went to St. Cloud State and has scored a goal for the Islanders. He tipped that Janssen shot in 3-3 after 40.
This game going there. John, thanks so much. Don't forget NHL.com for scores, stats, fantasy, and the official store of the NHL. It's NHL.com. If it's hockey, it is here. What a success story for Bob Hartley. Took over last year. Kurt Frazier was fired. On the move, Hanzus' shot. Deflected, kind of dribbles toward the glove of Defoe, who covers up with ease.
Speaking of Bob Hartley, he really has done a terrific job. As soon as he showed up, I mean, the momentum of the organization really took a major step forward. Coming from Colorado, having won a Stanley Cup, he did huge things for him. And he was the one, I talked to Don Waddell, the general manager, right before the game. He said, Bob Hartley talked to me and said, I want to come here. I like your team. I like young teams. I'd love to come here and coach. This was last season, of course. He came here, started the job, had a winning record for the second half of last year, and of course has a winning record here right now. The Thrashers have thrived underneath him. I think he was a terrific choice by the Thrashers and Don Waddell.
Captain Sean McEachern marching up ice here with 50 seconds and counting at the 4-on-4. Savard back to McEachern. Puck airborne for a moment over the blocker of Jeff Hackett, who's had his troubles handling the puck tonight. Things have been a little nutty in front of the Flyer goal. McEachern regains near circle, trying to center. Battles with Ragnarsson. Frank Caberlet getting involved. He has a lot of power play points this year. Now a long shift for Savard, who gassed. Lugs himself off the ice. Kovalchuk with a fresh Jets is back out there. Frank Caberlet centering try. Patrick Steph on a pass. Kovalchuk can't quite catch up with it. 10 seconds and counting remaining in the 4-on-4. And we're back to full strength.
See what I mean? No fear from Atlanta. It doesn't matter what the situation. Bob Hartley said that to me before the game. In our games this year, one thing I like the brashness of our team. Doesn't matter if we're up 3 goals or down 3 goals. We have energy. We just keep going. And it's interesting, too, when you look at how the two coaches coach. The top players like Ilya Kovalchuk and Savard and McEachern, they get anywhere from 3 to 5 minutes more ice time per game than the top guys on the Philadelphia Flyers, the guys like Amante and Roenick and Mark Recchi. So when you get 3 to 5 minutes more ice time, of course you're going to get more scoring chances. And guys like Kovalchuk, who are young, they can take the work, and he's thriving on it.
Tied for first in the NHL. Goal scored 20 tallies with Rick Nash, a young superstar for the Columbus Blue Jackets. Tossed down along those far boards, and we got a call from behind. It will be a hold. And a power play upcoming, it appears, again for Atlanta, as Vandermeer is going to go for a second time. Southwest Airlines intermission report coming your way. John Butchergoss, Barry Melrose, guys are back in the studio. Mike Price at UTEP. Price is right. College football news. Lewis runs wild. And the Devils, Hawks as well. It's all coming up on the Southwest Airlines intermission report.
There's a look at Mark Savard. He missed 10 games, 9 games actually, with an ankle problem, and he was suspended for 1 game. But he's played 82 games now going back to last year, and he's got exactly 82 points. That's how good Savard has been for the Atlanta Thrashers, and especially in power play situations, he is their best guy. He's their best puck handler, he's their best playmaker, and he can score.
Vandermeer in for a hole. Atlanta so far 0 for 2 in their power play tries. 4 shots on Jeff Hackett in those 2 attempts. Power play time for the rest of the period. Quick shot. Kovalchuk, the one-timer. In addition to the great skating, the snapshot, the passing ability, a one-time slap shot that is blazing. Talk about a heavy shot from the point.
Oh, yeah.
For Kovalchuk.
He just loves to shoot, and I think that probably a lot of players around the NHL should just take a lesson from him, because he hasn't given up on trying to shoot the puck. Maybe he holds on to it a little bit too much, but he has such superior skills. I'd rather see him do that. I think there are a lot of forwards and a lot of teams in the league right now who overpass and are missing scoring chances because of it.
20 and counting remaining in the opening frame from Atlanta. There'll be power play time, none over for the Thrashers to begin the second period. Final 10 seconds here. Ronald Petrovitsky, the gift goal. His 9th tally of the season. It was the only goal of the opening 20. So it'll be 39 seconds of power play time in the second period. The Southwest Airlines intermission report is coming up next. Kovalchuk has been spectacular with that end-to-end rush. Petrovitsky gets the gift. That's why Atlanta has got the 1-0 lead.
Well, I'm not the smartest guy in the world, but I do like the intellectual movement.
You're in good company.
I like to talk and to really get down to issues, you know, make family films. I think I'll try to make more family films, you know, with the kids and all those kind of issues. Great. But I'd like to make a movie where I just run around and don't say anything either.
Well, can you relate to this game when you see the action out here? You're talking about action films and things are blowing up all over the place. It can happen out there on the ice, too.
Yeah, man, we've seen some fists flying, and if I can just keep my eye on the puck long enough to figure out what's going on. I don't know.
Those are real fights now. That's not Hollywood special effects.
That guy got hit in the face 20 times today. I have to say the Philadelphia guy won. What would you say?
Yeah, handily, yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely. That's why the linesman jumped in and stopped it when they did. But as far as watching the puck, I'm telling you, if you watch the players around the puck. You don't have to focus on it. I think that a lot of people do that. A lot of people raise that as a question watching hockey, that they have trouble seeing the puck. You just watch the action, and the puck will be around there, and you'll see it a lot more than you think.
Yeah, I mean, these guys have incredible coordination. I really have a lot of respect for them. I wish I could have seen you play, sir.
You're probably not old enough.
Won a Stanley Cup with Montreal, did our Brian Englom.
Yeah, and that's a big deal, right? That Stanley Cup thing.
That's the
Sure
biggest.
to me, I can tell you that.
Sharnquist is into the penalty box now. Interference minor called against the Thrasher defenseman. We began our second period with a power play for Atlanta. They're now 0 for 3 with 5 shots from the man advantage so far.
Well,
Power play try here again for the Flyers.
Yeah, Philly had nothing going in the first period. They were stunned after they gave away that goal. Now's a chance for them to get something going. Their power play is the best in the National Hockey League.
Monty outside that circle. Power play time for the Flyers. Quickly in front, and they score! John LeClair gets the tip in on the Hanzu's feet. It's a power play tally. The equalizer for the visiting Flyers, and it's a 1-1 game.
That's what makes the Philadelphia Flyers a good team. They know how to respond. I think they felt that they were fortunate to be only down by 1 goal the way they played in the first period. They get this power play situation. Big John, number 10, will go to the front of the net. It's a simple tic-tac-toe. Look at that pass from Hanzus, 26 White to 10 White, right on the tape. Tony Amonte starts it, comes right across. Oh, that is just beautiful. That's either defenseman or Byron Dafoe, the goaltender, have to deflect that away. I'd say Byron Dafoe would like to have the second chance at that deflected past John LeClair.
8th of the year, and his 4th power play tally of the season. Big John LeClair. U.S.-born stars we talked about. Aaron Eckhart, Hollywood star, is with us here in the booth in Atlanta, checking out. Is this one of your first hockey games you've seen in person? Have you had a chance to watch a lot?
Well, I made 3 movies in Vancouver. I saw a couple there.
There you go.
Yeah.
Canucks are huge, having a great season in the Western Conference for Mark Crawford. Now, what's your favorite city, Aaron, to go to? Vancouver's one of ours in terms of visiting the NHL on the road. Have you had a film location that really is a favorite for you?
Vancouver's great. In the summertime. In the winter, it's a little hard to take. Rains a lot. I've been shooting in New Mexico. I really like that. I like cowboy movies and horses and that kind of stuff, too.
And warm and dry, obviously.
Yeah.
Too. What's your sport? You're a football guy, I think?
I like my Raiders.
Yeah.
My Raiders aren't doing too well this year. And I like to surf. Not many people are familiar with surfing except, you know, in the magazines, but that's my main thing. That's how I release my stress from Hollywood.
That's got a little dangerous edge to it, too. If you can surf, you can play hockey.
Oh, yeah. I regret not playing hockey. I regret not skating.
LeClair's 8th of the year from Hanzus and Amati, the helpers at 1:34 second period. Here's Kim Janssen carrying in. Flyers with a little bounce in their step after tying this game in the second. Lecky behind the net trying to center. Knocked aside by the goal stick of the Phil. Picked up by Mark Savard in that far circle. Here's Slava Kozlov at center. Back to Savard. The big game last night in Pittsburgh. Quick snapshot. Glove down. Great save. Made by Jeff Hackett in the nets tonight for Philadelphia.
That was a good shot by Mark Savard there. Same kind of thing as Ilya Kovalchuk would do. Just come down on a defenseman, make a little bit of move, and throw the puck at the net. I mean, I think when Kovalchuk does it, it's catchy for everybody, and it's a positive thing. Again, I think there's not enough teams in the league where they have guys going to the net like Kovalchuk and like Mark Savard producing some good offense.
Off the draw, another shot from that far circle, stopped by the goal stick of Hackett, and it's cleared out to center ice. Sutton helps spin the puck back in the offensive zone. The captain for Atlanta, McEachern, tracks it down near corner. Draped all over him is Johnson. 5 in a white sweater. Patrick Stefan, who, unlike Kovalchuk, has not quite blossomed into the offensive star they thought he might be, as Don Waddell made him that first overall pick in team history a few years back. Did score last night, though, in that big win at Pittsburgh. Frank Cavalier lost the handle. That's dangerous. Has to bring down LeClair, and there's got to be a call there.
Absolutely.
As Frantisek Cavalier lost the handle, and John LeClair was charging in. So what do you think here, Aaron Eckhart? Is there a possibility for a hockey movie, maybe, to get some ideas and the creative juices flowing?
Who's the girl?
You tell us.
Good answer.
That's the first question I ask whenever anybody offers me a movie. Who's the girl?
How long do you think it'd take you to learn to skate?
Oh, you know, a couple weeks, you know, as good as these guys.
Special effects in Hollywood, anything can be done now, right?
No, it would take me a long time, but I would try my hardest. I think you guys do a great job.
Thanks. We have a great job. This is fun stuff to do.
Cavalry in for a tripping minor here. A few seconds into this power play try for Philly. Moments ago, they scored on the LeClaire tally to tie this game up. Run by Hollywood star Aaron Eckhart, who's told us how busy he is with upcoming Phil paycheck coming out. Christmas Day with Ben Affleck, Uma Thurman, John Woo film. Right on net, stopped by Byron Dafoe and cleared. So, Aaron, at this point of your career, are the offers flowing in? That's every actor's dream.
Yeah, I get to sit home and listen and wait for the phone call. Yeah, I'm lucky to have to be able to do that. Yeah, phone doesn't ring very often, but I still listen for it.
Well, once it does ring that one time, though, you're busy for several months after that. That's the good thing, right?
Yeah, I get to work with a lot of great people. I'm very lucky.
Andy Sutton carrying in. Quick shot from the right point is gloved down by Jeff Hackett with the Thrasher captain Sean McEachern right on the doorstep.
Well, listen, guys, I'm going to take off. These guys don't want to hear me. I don't know anything about hockey.
Aaron, thanks very much for coming by. Wish you great luck with the film. We know it'll be great with you in it, and Ben Affleck and Uma Thurman.
Thanks for inviting me here.
Anytime.
All right, guys.
Aaron Eckhart, starring in the movie Paycheck coming up Christmas Day. It's to be released by Paramount. John Woo film. We can't wait to see it. That was a thrill, Brian.
Yeah.
I mean, I get pretty pumped up working with you guys, and of course the superstars of the NHL, but you're not a Hollywood star. So.
Yeah, that's right. He's great. He's a terrific actor. That's going to be a fun picture to see.
Did you see The Missing yet with Tommy Lee Jones and Kate Blanchett? That's a good one, too.
It's on my list of places to go. He's worked with some terrific talent, no doubt.
Yep. Exelby trying to track it down far corner. It's about 5 minutes in, second period, still 48 and counting. Power play time for Philly.
We got to tell Aaron, though, there's no girls in hockey, not in the NHL.
Never, right?
There are a lot of good female hockey players, no doubt, but not in the NHL. He said, make a hockey picture? Who's the girl?
First question. Makes sense. Plays offside at the blue line. It's Janssen. Carried it in. We want to tell you about the ESPN2 Ice Picks coming up. You can log on to ESPN.com and vote by December 28th, just a week away. Sabres, Bruins, Pens, Flyers, the Blackhawks, Blues. Those are the choices as we bring back this popular edition of NHL to ESPN2 on January 12th.
Well, if Mario Lemieux can come back and from his injury, that will have a large effect, I think, on that choice involving the Pittsburgh Penguins.
Help out our former colleague Eddie Olczyk. Pens losing again last night. Been a bit of a struggle. Very young team there trying to rebuild in Pittsburgh. Desjardins lost the handle. Sent in just under 5 ticks remaining. Power play time here for Philly. 1 for 2 so far with a man advantage. LeClaire cashing in earlier in this period. One shot on that power play try for Philadelphia.
Well, they got through it, and they didn't give up anything. On the penalty killing side, I mean, the Atlanta Thrashers are very dangerous too. They're one of the top scoring teams shorthanded, and the Flyers have yet to give up a goal when they're on their power play. So we're going to watch as that. I'm sure there'll be more penalties in this game. We'll see if that changes.
Crazy play. Exelby lost the stick. It got stuck in the boards. It's a giveaway, and Kapanen nearly cashed in along with Justin Williams for Philly. Now Kovalchuk the other way with a burst. He's too fast for his own good sometimes and actually lost his edge. Petrovitsky is bumped off the play by Ronan.
Kovalchuk tried to turn Weinrich inside out. Eric Weinrich has been around a long time, and Kovalchuk is just so interesting to watch because sometimes it's just a little bit of a shoulder move or a head fake. Other times he'll take 2 or 3 steps like he did that last time on Weinrich to try and get him to move his feet and then double back. So you see a little bit of everything from Kovalchuk on the one-on-one situation.
Carrion for Weinrich, banks it off the near wall. Here's Tamer, another day oneer. In Atlanta Thrasher history, Kovalchuk spun off the play, knocks it down with the right skate, though, at the red line. And Petrovitsky plays back to the defense. On the move. Ben Simon shot with a delay penalty coming up again. It's against Philadelphia, so Atlanta will have a power play, their first of this period, if the Flyers can touch up. Extra attacker on the ice for now. Here's Simon, far circle on the move. Shot Tremblay, and a goal stick stop made by Hackett. Finally the touch up in the corner by Mark Recchi. But it was a power play tally to tie this game up. Great feed, Hanzus finishing John LeClaire. That's why we're tied 1-1, but a power play for Atlanta when we return.
I got you something.
Oh, you shouldn't have. Oh, this is nice. And here's yours. I know it's not fancy, but it's what's inside that counts. And what's inside is Labatt Blue.
Wow.
Huh?
I love it.
Break out the blue. Labatt Blue.
Awesome gift.
Big bad Donald Brashear is in the bin for the next two. High-sticking minor at 7:03 middle period here from Atlanta. So a power play for the Thrashers again on the move. Quick shot. Deflected away off the stick of Caverlet. Regained by Hanzus. Here's Williams. With speed shorthanded. Hanzus made a living out of shorthanded play for Joel Quenneville in St. Louis for a few years. Great D-zone draw man on big face-offs you need to win.
And Justin Williams doing a good job there on the forecheck and then just controlling the puck. Atlanta a little bit guilty there of just wanting to sit back and wanting Williams to give it to them, but he didn't.
Well, Keckern fires into the offensive zone. 35 seconds into the power play. The captain Keith Primo regains. He'll fire down ice himself on a clear. Defoe waited maybe a second too long with Kapanen on the forecheck right in his face. Sammy Kapanen has Kovalchuk-like speed, folks. He can move. Slava Kozlov around the dasher. Weinrich lost the handle. Savard, one-timer, Kovalchuk, and deflected by the goal stick. And now it comes into the near corner. Regain quickly, Savard, nifty pass in the middle, Tremblay shot. That's blocked in front. What a feed by Mark Savard. The no-look pass to a charging Yannick Tremblay, the defenseman. Power play time rolls on in front. Kovalchuk, the back door was there. Bodies everywhere. Tremblay sends to Savard. 30 and counting power play time. One-timer, Kovalchuk. Nubbed that off the heel of the stick, and no mustard on the shot from Ilya.
I told you, Kovalchuk will shoot anything. He made a one-time shot, his first one. That was such a hard pass, I couldn't believe he got it on net.
Kovalchuk fakes, then goes cross ice for Savard, and that far circle couldn't find the handle. He was pointed the wrong way to tee it up for a shot. Petrovitsky's now set up in front. Tremblay charging through. 10 and counting power play time. Savard shot. Not much on that. Kozlov, Mark Savard. Kovalchuk, one-time glove pad stop made by Hackett. Deflected into the corner. A rocket off the stick of Kovalchuk, but Hackett was unscreened. Kozlov with a man in front, got two in front, in fact. Penalty clears, Brashear is out. Even strength, low slot, Petrovitsky can't find the handle. And it skips all the way through. We're back to five-a-side. Kovalchuk fans on a clearing try, then gets rung up for his trouble by Brashear, who's now in front, trying to tip it home. One-hand try by Brashear is stopped by Defoe. Exciting action end-to-end. We need a breather, John Butchergrass.
Speaking of motion pictures, Mariusz Cherkasky used to be married to Izabela Skorupko, who was in the James Bond movie GoldenEye. And Cherkasky, perfectly placed wrist shot, and the Isles lead 5-3.
Well, there's one way to stop Ilya Kovalchuk, and Donald Brashear found it. On the forecheck, he just leveled Kovalchuk. Kovalchuk wasn't expecting it. He was almost completely airborne. He's angry when he gets up, and he had to run to the front of the net, or Donald Brashear would have scored.
Just about poking in the one-hander was Donald Brashear, not only finishing a check on Kovalchuk, but getting himself in front of the net for a good opportunity. Guys buzzing around the goal here. They got plenty of energy from the Leclerc tally very early in this second period. And now regaining stride here off the big hit from Brashear. Here's Simon Gagne on the move. Quick shot outside the near circle, and on the way through is Roenick looking for a rebound. And a little blocker to his gut from Byron Defoe.
Here's what happens if you don't throw the body into Ilya Kovalchuk. This was in the first period. Look at that. Picking his way from one end of the ice through everybody. And then here's when he tried to put a move on Eric Weinrich. He just tripped himself up a little bit. But Brashear got the body on him, and they know they have to do something about this guy. We said right from the opening of this game, Dave, that he has such great raw talent. He's dynamic. He's skating all the time. He one-times pucks from everywhere on that last power play. He took two shots. One was bouncing and rolling. I think if you rolled a bowling ball to him, he'd one-time that too.
And probably get plenty of spice on the shot as well.
Right.
Hanzu center tried looking again for Leclerc. It was broken up. We're seeing a new Flyer team here. Energy provided, I think, by the big hit from Donald Brashear. Ringing up the star, Kovalchuk, who's been so great tonight. Shot from Hanzus. Rebound was loose. Defoe trying to clear it. And finally it's sent out. Here's Kovalchuk. Trying to go around the defense and undress Janssen. Didn't do it all the way. Still a center try. On the road. Petrovitsky scores! His second of the night. 2-1 Atlanta. What a play, Kovalchuk.
Oh, do these fans love their team? And well, they should. Ronald Petrovitsky is in a perfect spot for the second time, but look at the work by our man, Kovalchuk. Petrovitsky comes in unmolested, late on the play, and all he has to do is shoot it in the right place. Look at this. Even though he doesn't make the clean move, he fights through the check against Chris Therien. Throws it out to an open spot. Petrovitsky knows where the open spot is, and it's 2-1 Thrashers.
Blamed off waivers from the New York Rangers October 3rd. Brian Hardabali, second of the night, 10th of the season for Ronald Petrovitsky from Slovakia. Thanks to his great line mate, it's 2-1.
The NCAA Women's Basketball Championship coming in March.
This is Labatt Blue, the clean, crisp lager imported daily from Canada. Its refreshing, honest taste comes from a brewing tradition first established in 18... Cut. No, I really didn't feel that one. Could we record it again?
Let's get some more blue in there.
Break out the blue. Labatt Blue.
Alrighty, take 4. We're getting there, guys.
10 of Ronald Petrovitsky's 24 career goals have come this year. He has a new career high in goals scored, thanks largely in part to Ilya Kovalchuk with the great helper moments ago. The other one was a gift from the goaltender, Jeff Hackett. Kapanen, sharp angle shot. A stick stop made by Defoe. And on the move, Atlanta again. Blatney, who was just called up from the minors today because of some injury issues for Atlanta. First time we've mentioned his name in this game so far. Zdeněk Blatney, a left winger.
And my apologies to Chris Therien. I thought it was Therien that Kovalchuk fought his way around. It was not. It was Kim Jonsson that Kovalchuk was able to get by before he made the pass out in front of that Petrovitsky goal.
Jonsson is paired as usual with Chris Therien. Great pass cross ice. Here's Gagne on the move. Quick shot. And a nice stop again. Goal stick off the foe. The rebound deflected just wide as JR, Jenny, Roenick, and Recchi were charging the net. Gagne's got some pretty good wheels of his own. Can he motor? Roenick held up by Garnet Exelby at the red line. Landy Robitaille regains. Looks for Kovalchuk again with the incredible speed. And we've got a call. Because of the great speed, he draws a penalty. We'll check out after we check in with John Butcher-Gross.
Been a good night for American-born hockey players, Dave. John LeClaire scores in your game. Mark Parrish has scored tonight. Here's Anchorage, Alaska's Scott Gomez scoring. 1-0 Devils. He turns 24 years old on Tuesday.
John, thank you. Coming up, Dodge Intermission Report, Barry's best. And the UTEP price is right. Mike Price hired by UTEP Sharks. Mighty Ducks highlights as well, and a power play here for Atlanta. Mark Recchi is in on a slash for the next two. Kovalchuk pausing.
Yeah, he must not have known it was his number that was called by the referee, because we had to wait several seconds before Recchi made his way to the penalty box. So with the momentum in the Thrashers' favor and ahead on the scoreboard 2-1, this is a very dangerous time for the Philadelphia Flyers, who have done a very good job. Both their special teams are extremely good. Number one on the power play and killing penalties as well. They're no slouches, and they need a big kill right now.
Saw a moment ago that stat that Atlanta 0 for 4 so far in this game, 7 shots with a man advantage. They were 0 for 13 in their last few games, heading into last night's tilt at Pittsburgh, where they scored 3 times with a man advantage against the Pens.
The roller coaster.
That's what you get with this team, right? Young and talented right now. A lead in this one, and the man advantage. Here's Savard. He tore up Pittsburgh personally with 5 points last night. Outside the circle, Kovalchuk through traffic, deflected wide by Caberlet, who's now set up in front. Radicek Caberlet, the veteran defenseman. Savard at the goal line. Outside the near circle with traffic in front. Kozlov looking for a seam. McEachern on the move. Savard shot. Last second knocked away. Kovalchuk a one-timer through traffic. Loose rebound. McEachern stopped by Jeff Hackett on the doorstep, keeping this a 2-1 game.
And I think Savard's shot ended up going up off the goalpost, rather. Hackett did get a piece of it, and then slowly rolled off the far side post. But it's Mark Savard down low, who has really done a terrific job of controlling the puck. You got McEachern out there, you got Kozlov, and all those guys are really giving Jeff Hackett and the Philadelphia Flyers fits on the power play. Southwest Airlines goal cam shows you that Hackett was pretty tight to that short side pipe. A little bit of a touch there and off the far goal post.
Kovalchuk from the point, blasts it wide to the right of Hackett. Patrick Stefan trying to follow up the rebound on that far side, and it's eventually cleared down.
There's no guessing what Kovalchuk's going to do when he gets the puck, does he?
He is going to shoot.
He must have loaded up, what, 10 times at least in this game already? I know he had 8 shots last night in Pittsburgh. 8.
Had 4 the last time we checked in with him. He by far is the leading shot man in the NHL. 154 coming in. The next closest was Brendan Shanahan of Detroit at 128. Yeah. But those numbers are all out because he's been firing pucks all night on Jeff Hackett. Short-handed to burst. Half a minute left in this power play. On the move, Kapanen shot deflected, and charging the net there is Keith Primo. With White. Big obstruction in front of the goal with a screen. Kovalchuk glides into the offensive zone, then lobs it right toward the goaltender Hackett, who gloves it down. 13 ticks left in the power play for Atlanta.
Well, there's lots of ways to measure how good your team is going and how well they're progressing. But let's take a look at this for the Thrashers and Bob Hartley. Last year at this point in the season, 14th in the Eastern Conference. This year, 3rd. Not bad. And they got out of the gate so fast. I mean, they started riding the wave from the very beginning of the season. They were right out in front of it and did a terrific job and gained an awful lot of confidence, both offensively and defensively. I think mostly offensively. And then Pasi Nurminen, who's played most of the games in goal, has been terrific for them as well.
Kozlov cruises across the blue line. Quick shot, he scores! Slava Kozlov, an even strength goal. It's 3-1 Atlanta. I think Hackett's going to want that one back.
You know what? This still goes back to Kovalchuk and the attitude about this team. They come in and they make a move and they shoot the puck and they go to the net. They don't care that they're not looking for the pretty plays. They challenge defensemen. They get up to him. And this is Kozlov. He's got the puck. He looks in the middle, and he'll just pull up, and he'll throw it in net. Look at the traffic. He has a terrific wrist shot. One of the best wrist shots in the National Hockey League. But he uses it. And I think it's just their ability and their willingness to get to the net, throw pucks at the net, and it's going in. And Hackett, I think, was screened on that. He never picked that up right away. It went 5-hole.
16th talent of the year for Vyacheslav Kozlov on the move. Brashear center and try. The phone bumped a bit with Fedoruk out there and Somik. The energy line trying to give some kind of boost. Must need it here for the Flyers down by 2. Kozlov 16th. Savard the helper at 13:45 of the second period. I stand corrected. He was screened. No question about it. Hackett could not see the shot well at all, and it went 5-hole on him.
Well, you could tell by his reaction that it was there, and then all of a sudden it was on him, and then it was between him, and then it was behind him. And you could just tell that Hackett just, you know, his body language said, I didn't see that until it was too late.
Third leading scorer is Slava Kozlov on this Atlanta squad. Last night he lit up Pittsburgh for 2 goals, 4 points. He continues the hot streak here tonight. 16th tally of the season in this middle frame. Now a 3-1 Atlanta lead. This joint is jumping, folks. A lot of energy in the building. Tony Amani in front. Leclaire bids for a second of the period. Deflected just wide. Great opportunity on the doorstep for John Leclaire. Has scored so many goals in front. Sharp angle shot. Amani comes all the way through, missed the net. And it's out to center ice.
John Leclaire is doing his best to be ornery in front of the net. Something he's done his entire career, especially his time as a Philadelphia Flyer. He has the 1 Flyers goal so far in this game by doing just that.
Leclaire outside the circle, charges in. Savard watching him on the back check. Hanzus is set up in front, as is Amani now. To the point, Therrien shot deflected. And Kozlov helps clear. Chance for a 2-on-1. Savard in. Petrovitsky bids for the hat trick. A shot knocked away by Hackett, who cut down the angle nicely. And it's out to center for Hanzus to Amani at the end of their shift. He'll bank it off the far wall. What a rush by the Thrashers. Bidding for a 3-goal lead in the middle period.
And Petrovitsky, with 2 goals already in this game, has got lots of confidence. He tried to pick the top corner there, but it was well played by the Philly defense and by Hackett. There wasn't much to shoot at.
Kapanen boots that ahead. Flyers did win their game yesterday at home at the Wachovia Center against the Isles, but they had been in a slump before that. 5-game winless streak at 0-1, 2-2. Puck possession, giveaways, a big bugaboo for Ken Hitchcock. Boy, was he upset after the team lost to Tampa Bay on Thursday in a Martin St. Louis overtime game winner at home. He was incensed by that result. And I imagine he'll have some choice words for some of the breakdowns they've had defensively in this game to his team after the second period here.
I'm sure he had some choice words in that first intermission. They came out with a good start here, but again, it's the spirit and the intensity of this Atlanta Thrashers team. They just restarted themselves after a bit of a shaky start in the second.
DJ plays out for McEachern. He'll head off on a change. JP Vijay trying to tee it up. Stick deflected by Keith Primo. Puck airborne for a moment. Regain. Kovalchuk shot. Patrick Stepan in front with Hackett way out of the net. Lunging for it. Hackett recovers. Kovalchuk a pass instead of a shot. And it was broken up by Weinrich. Now Recchi some speed through the neutral zone. Here's Kapanen in a burst. Back for Mark Recchi, the sniper himself. Trying to pick that far corner. Just missed it by a fraction. End-to-end action here. Kovalchuk, speaking of the action, has Robitaille with him. They crisscross. Try to go cross ice. Broken up by Recchi. Robitaille with just over 2.5 to go in the middle period.
One of the things about Kovalchuk's attack, too, he's right-handed, but he plays the left side, so his stick is in the middle of the ice. It makes him more dangerous when he pulls the trigger. He gets a better angle to the net.
Petrovitsky's throwing his weight around. Hits Roenick pretty hard. And Recchi carries through. Quick shot. It's Roenick in the slot. And another goal stick stop by Byron Defoe. The other way. Shot put right on by the rookie just called up in Blatney. Don't forget NHL.com as we see the action here. Kozlov bid for a second of the period. Penalty is coming up, delay call. And we have get things squared away when we return. But for now, with under 2 to go in the period, Kozlov celebrates an Atlanta lead. Hartley's team, thanks to a hooking call against Zdeněk Blatney, the rookie left winger will be short-handed, but doesn't have a lot to worry about right now with the offense and the output of late.
Yeah, people talk about scoring in the National Hockey League. Don't tell these Thrashers they don't listen to stuff like that. Yeah, they've had their problems, and yeah, they went 3 straight games without a goal. But man, they're on the downs, on that down slope on that roller coaster ride, and they are picking up speed.
Key point of the game here, folks, for Philadelphia trying to get back in it with about 1.5 minutes to go in the period. And that much time nearly exactly in the power play. Tally here would change things drastically. Leclerc has scored already in this middle frame. Here's Amani charging himself to the net. Try to get it to Hanzus, deflected off his stick. And because that hits the net, the faceoff comes out the center outside the blue line. Following our game on ESPN2, join John Butchergross and Barry Melrose for NHL Tonight. We'll recap all the day's action, have all of the night's highlights. NHL Tonight, the best way to follow the action of every NHL game. Tonight's big stories, take your pick, Yager or Lindros. Barry's top 5 Christmas gifts and Darren's top 5 all-time Maple Leaf players.
The Philadelphia Flyers power play is so much better this year. When I talked to Ken Stock and asked him why, he said it's because we stick to the same plan all the time. He said you'll know what you're going to get from us all the time because we're going to keep doing the same thing. Last year when the power play was 27th in the league at this point in the season, he said we always tried to change it and adapt it to whoever we were playing against on any given night, and it definitely didn't work. So they found the right formula this year.
Under a minute in this middle frame. We're coming in from Phillips Arena, downtown Atlanta, Georgia. Dave Ryan, Brian Engblom, our entire crew. It's the NHL on ESPN2. Power play time dwindling away here for the Flyers, trying to get some much-needed momentum for the third period. Gagne trying to glove it out of midair. Here's Roenick outside the far circle. 36 seconds and counting. Gagne at the goal line, has Recchi set up, but not turned to shoot. Janssen calls for it, gets the pass from Recchi. Janssen down low. Desjardins cruising in. Gagne takes a hit. Hit hard there by Andy Sutton. He's laid out. Caberlet gets involved. 20 ticks and counting. Melting second period clock here from Atlanta. Now the Thrashers more than satisfied with just holding up play along the board. Sharp angle shot. Put on by Roenick. Stopped again by the goal stick of Hackett, who had it right on the ice. Desjardins. Cross-ice play and another sharp angle from Roenick behind the net. Final seconds of the period. Desjardins a shot is swallowed up by Byron Defoe with 1 second to go in the period.
Vijay is very lucky there because Atlanta did a really good job down low along the wall and were very patient and didn't rush into a bad situation. And Vijay, number 11, had a chance to clear it, and he threw it right up the middle of the ice. What it turned into was a scoring chance for John Leclerc, yes, from a bad angle, and then one more shot from the point. When you get those chances, especially when you're short-handed and you have to clear them, you got to do it. Atlanta dodged the bullet there.
Final moments of the period expire, and that is it. Great 20 minutes for the Thrashers after Leclerc got it going with a power play goal. All Atlanta after that.
Oh, happy shining faces here. This is an energy-filled building. Philly's got their work cut out for them in the third period.
Dodger and Mission Report coming up next with John and Barry in the studio. Kovalchuk has been unbelievable, folks, tonight. Great feed there for Petrovitsky, who's got 2 goals and a career-high 10 for the season. Part to the spectacular play of Ilya Kovalchuk. Has a great assist on the goal scored. The second from Petrovitsky in this game. That came at the end of the second period. Kozlov followed that with a goal of his own. Make it 3-1. Just a couple seconds of holdover power play time to begin the period. Now we're at even strength. 5 aside from Atlanta. And as we see the numbers after 2, Philly could use a burst. Anything, some momentum, Brian, to get going in this third period.
And it's really going to be an uphill fight because this building is literally all smiles. The atmosphere in here, folks, is difficult to describe to you. Of course, every group of fans is happy when their hometown team is winning, and that's happening right here in this building. But there's an energy in this building that's unmistakable, and it's been created certainly by Kovalchuk and his play and Savard and the team in general, and that energy is all over the place.
There's several teams to not lose a game when leading after 40 minutes in that exact scenario here tonight. Trying to keep the perfect record intact when leading after 2. Recchi leaves back there for Tarrant. Simon Gagne follows up. X will be avoided a hit. Look out. Gagne went hard into the corner boards. Very slow to get up behind the play. The last thing the Flyers need is Simon Gagne hurt again. Missed so much time last year. Kozlov and Petrovitsky have combined to score. The 3 tallies tonight for the host Atlanta Thrashers in their home blues here. Trying to jam it in. Fedoruk, who has battled hard tonight along with Brashear and Radovan Somik. This line has provided some energy.
They've done what they have to do. Yeah, once they get in the offensive zone, they dump it in, and they run around and they bang bodies a lot. That's exactly what they're supposed to do, and they've done it well.
Tamer's shot for the point knocked down. Had JP Guijay set up in front. Fedoruk sends into the offensive zone again. Tamer falls up right behind him with a forecheck is Radovan Somik. Grabbed by Ragnarsson, tosses into the corner. Hard there, tough to handle for Fedoruk, who spins away from the back check. From Atlanta, deep in its own zone, and Yannick Tremblay. Tamer pokes it loose, Brashear. End of a long shift here for the big guys. They've been on the ice a long time.
Really good coverage, though, by Atlanta. I've been impressed with them inside their own zone. They've been very patient. They haven't tried to force things and tried to force turnovers inside their zone. They're just careful and play good body position, and it's really paid off for them.
Tamer ices it. Vandermeer, the touch-up icing is the call.
Well, we were taking a look at the key matchup, like Ilya Kovalchuk and Savard for his team. Ice time, shots, and the plus-minus situation. Look where they are. Look at the ice time difference. And for Atlanta, that's what Hartley has to do. He has to play as big gunners. Those guys are out there all the time. They are playing double the amount of the top 2 forwards of the Philadelphia Flyers. Now, Ken Hitchcock has the luxury of having a much deeper talent base, but it just shows you these 2 teams come at it from very different angles.
Deeper, but for the most part, an older roster in Philadelphia. Laden with superstars, some of whom are headed to the Hall of Fame. Remo trying to set things up and bring out of his own zone. Here's Kapanen with some speed. Keep in mind that Atlanta played last night. At least Philly had some more time to rest. They had a 1 o'clock local game at the Wachovia Center in Philadelphia, so they flew on the charter right afterwards, and we're here comfortable dinner time by about 6 or so.
Obviously, this team likes to play at home. Atlanta, I talk about, and they're so enthused with coming out of that streak of 3 games where they couldn't score a goal. They got shut out 3 straight games, and then they went into Pittsburgh last night and scored 7 goals, and they just carried that momentum over here tonight.
Play is offside, and Monty trying to work things.
Their offense just keeps getting better. It's one of the things that this franchise has built on. They have that core of star players, and you look at the ranking from last year. 26 down to 10. Wow.
That's with Danny Heatley, folks. Danny Heatley, who won the Calder Trophy as the Rookie of the Year 2 years ago, had 41 tallies last year. So despite the tragedy and the loss of their 40-plus goal scorer, Heatley, this team has lit it up offensively. It is unbelievable.
Yeah, and you mentioned earlier in the game, Danny Heatley is scheduled to skate pretty soon. He's been working off the ice. He tore his knee up pretty good in that car accident, and that's what he's recovering from.
Hodges charging in, deflected into the corner. Randy Robitaille trying to bring out of his own zone. 4 minutes into our third frame here from Georgia. And Petrovitsky will handle the honors and ice the puck at the same time. Therrien will get there. Touch-up icing is the call. Monday Night Countdown gives you all the news from the best in the business. Beginning at 7:30 Eastern Time on ESPN2. It all leads up to Monday Night Football, where Al Michaels, John Madden, and Lisa Guerrero will be in Oakland as the Packers battle the Oakland Raiders on Monday Night Football, live at 9 Eastern, 6 Pacific on ABC.
Jeremy Roenick's line out there for the Philadelphia Flyers. They have not been able to generate very many scoring chances in this game. Puck possession has been a big story in favor of the Atlanta Thrashers, and turnovers by the Flyers.
We know our guest tonight, Aaron Eckhart's going to be watching those Raiders, right? That's his team.
Offside, Philadelphia.
Well, the onus is on the Flyers to get something going here. I mean, they're down 3-1 on the scoreboard, and Jim Vandermeer scored 2 goals last night. First time he's ever had a 2-goal game against, yesterday afternoon, actually, against the New York Islanders. It'd be nice if he had that touch again right now, but they haven't had a lot of sustained action inside the zone. When their big crashing line has come out there, they've thrown some bodies around, but they don't really have the good finishing touch. I'm talking about the guys like Recchi and Amante and Jeremy Roenick. They haven't been able to get in there and have sustained attacks and scoring chances.
Vandermeer had all 3 goals in his first 44 career NHL games. That changed drastically yesterday in Philly with a 2-tally effort. Told us this morning he used to play up front as a winger in the 4th line in junior, but since then has been a defenseman.
You know, both the coaches in this game really have a lot in common. Both Hitchcock and Hartley. There's Bob Hartley, who of course came halfway through last year, and he and Hitchcock went to the Philadelphia Flyers at the start of last season, and they both created instant momentum for their teams. Now Hitchcock has got a lot more things to live up to because this Flyer team has a lot more depth and a lot of expectations, but he even raised those expectations. They both have great credibility too with their teams, even though neither of them ever played a game in the National Hockey League, and a lot of players say, well, they don't like that when players haven't been there, but I'm telling you, you have to believe when both these coaches have won Stanley Cups and have done the jobs they have done with their previous teams.
Here's Williams following up, sharp angle, backhand, shot puck loose in front for Kapanen. That's Williams again, follows up, puck is off the net, is off the pegs as Williams tried to fire. Now, do you have a delay of game call? That's possible if one of the Thrashers push the net off the peg.
Sean McEachran's going to talk to the referee right now, and it doesn't look like there's a intentional. Number 19 Blue, I believe, is the one who's going to end up pushing the net off its moorings. That's what we'll be watching. Watch the net. The shoulder, the left shoulder. Was he from behind? It's hard to say. Sean McEachran. There's the play in front. Yeah, it was kind of a collision there, and he bumps in. I don't think he tried to stop himself. It was probably a good situation for them to knock the netting off, but there's certainly no delay of penalty, or a delay of game, rather. And everything works out well in the Thrashers' favor.
Nice look from behind, Byron Defoe on Southwest Airlines goal cam. Venus Thrashers enjoying a 2-goal lead here, just over 5 in third period. Each team playing second game in 2 days. Caberlet from the neutral zone will dump it in. Weinrich falls up. Petrovitsky all over him, along with Savard, who's played with incredible energy and intensity tonight. Mark Savard not laying it up after the 5-point effort at Pittsburgh yesterday. And they lit up the pen, 7-4, big hit. Garnet Exelby lights up Amani along the end boards. And the fans here in Atlanta love it. Tony Amani trying to return the favor by getting a shot on net. Out for Janssen through traffic, puck loose. Leclerc waiting for a second. Amani a whack at it. And it trickles just wide somehow.
Michael Handzus got a shot at that, and he is shaking his head. I don't think that Handzus can believe that one didn't go in. Handzus, 26 white, was on the side of the net, and Big John Leclerc was making things happen again. John Leclerc may be the most consistent guy in front of the net, and then Handzus had the puck come out to him. 26 white, just off to the side, to the right side of your screen, right there. And I think, yeah, Byron Defoe got a hand on that. At first I thought that maybe Handzus didn't get the puck airborne enough. He did a little bit, but it didn't go over the arm of Byron Defoe, and there's a big chance missed there.
Opportunity for Jesus and his 8th goal of the year. He's second on the team to Jeremy Roenick amongst forwards with ice time for Ken Hitchcock. He's logged important minutes and could have had a crucial tally there had he buried it.
No doubt. You know, when you look at the Flyers down the middle, they got Primo and Jesus are a huge center iceman. Jeremy Roenick, of course, is the speed guy and the production guy. And then you got Mike Comrie. They made an interesting trade the other day. Mike Comrie is going to be another center for the Philadelphia Flyers. He's probably not going to play until after Christmas sometime. They're going through some visa situations up in Edmonton. He got traded from the Edmonton Oilers, of course. And so it'll be a few days at least yet before Comrie becomes a Flyer. I know Jeremy Roenick said to me before the game, oh, bring him on. He'll be great for us. He's a terrific playmaker.
Yeah, he was very excited when we spoke to him this morning about that. Comrie, the former Michigan star, who is an Edmonton native, got to clear some visa issues. Signed yesterday to a 1-year contract with the GM, Bobby Clark.
Yep.
And really not a full season, just a little more than a half.
Yeah, he was a contract holdout with Edmonton. It got ugly, as these things do. And they finally made a deal with the Flyers after everybody thought he was going to Anaheim.
Blatney, the rookie, just called up, trying to carry in. McEachern almost took advantage of a giveaway by Vandermeer. And it's cleared out to center. So Danik Blatney, 49 in blue. Off the end boards, another crazy bounce, which has plagued Jeff Hackett all night, especially in that end.
Yeah.
Another giveaway to Petrovitsky early for the game's first tally, and then avoided a near disaster later in the first frame.
Well, Atlanta's up by 2 goals here, so understandably they're working on protecting the lead and playing the right way. You know, Bob Hartley is harping on them right now to do so, but I think it's dangerous for them. They're an energy team, and they like to go straight ahead. They've lost some of that energy. They've lost some of that straight ahead play, and the Philadelphia Flyers are tied for first place in the National Hockey League because they can do a lot of things. I think this may be a little dangerous for Atlanta sitting back.
Weinrich now paired with Kim Johnson. They'll cruise across the red line and feather the puck into the offensive zone. Williams is now out there with Primo. And Sammy Kapanen trying to create here offensively. Third period, Flyers need something soon to stay alive in this game. Kapanen in front. Primo on the move, directed just wide. As the foe got the stick caught up through traffic and couldn't find it. Weinrich from the left point. His shot blocked away. And it skips into the far corner. Primo works for Williams, who's been in the ice a long time. Keith Primo, the captain, trying to find something. Yannick Tremblay draped over him, poked it loose. Good stick work by Tremblay, 38 in the dark sweater. Williams, sharp angle shot from the far circle. That goes well wide. Kapanen trying to set up Williams. Looks for the backhand. A short side. Primo whack at it. And again, sent just wide. Plenty of pressure, though, from this line. The foe knocked down for a moment. Gets back on his skates. Trying to jam it home is Kapanen. From the end boards, it's loose and covered finally by Byron Defoe in the crease.
The Philadelphia Flyers are going to have to get something going. They're down 3-1 in this game. And it's guys like Kapanen and Roenick. Will they do it?
Despite the festive holiday season, not much to be jolly about if you're a Flyer fan. I'd like to see some offense here from their beloved team. Off the draw, Desjardins charging for the puck. Got it fired on net, through traffic, knocked down by the goal. Glove there. Off the foot, and it skips into the near corner. That was nearly off the pegs again.
That was Jesus again. He had a chance, and he shoved it right through the crease that time.
Picked up by Tony Amani. Fires for Therrien. About 9 minutes into the period. We haven't mentioned Kovalchuk's name because, as Brian pointed out, Kovalchuk's off now as his stick snapped into Atlanta, being very cautious. Icing the puck a lot.
I think
Kovalchuk lead.
Kovalchuk wore that stick out.
All the shots, right? Recchi carrying it in right wing. Regained by Roenick behind the cage. Trying to set up Gagne in front, but he can't center. Here's Recchi. Roenick trying to get physical. Mark Recchi looks for JR. Cruising in is Vandermeer, and the center try again broken up. Sharnqvist got a piece of it. And McEachern clears.
And that was another good example of good patient defense in front of the net by Tarnqvist.
Intercept, Stefan on the move! He is denied by Hackett. What a big save to keep this a 2-goal game. Patrick Stefan nearly put it away for Atlanta.
And the Gremlins again are getting the Philadelphia Flyers. What is it about this end of the ice?
Killed them all night. McEachern tries to center for Mark Savard, who's been everywhere. He's buzzed around the Philly goal with regularity this evening. Taken back by Petrovitsky, bid for a hat trick for him off the skate. First of Marcus Ragnarsson. And deflected into the near corner. The game by Williams, back to the guy they call Rags. A very reliable blue liner. And that is a hand pass call.
Well, there have been gremlins and turnovers by the Philadelphia Flyers. Take your choice on that one. Patrick Stefan came in. Will he cash in next time? He might get another chance.
Next to that young guy. I'm not going to see his Thrashers too much. 7 of the 10 starting with a game they played last night in Pittsburgh. Will be on the road for Atlanta. This begins an 8-game road trip for the Flyers. It takes them to the West Coast after Christmas and then swings back east before they finally get back to Philly.
The Philadelphia Flyers have been in the West Coast, I know, for New Year's Eve for something like a dozen straight years, maybe even more. They're always out on the West this time of year. They seem to like it. They thrive on it usually, too.
Next home game for them, January 8th against the Florida Panthers. They're on the island Tuesday for their next game. Take on the Isles. It's about 9 minutes remaining in this period. Bouncing puck, the foe backhands it wisely. Gives us a chance to check back in with John Butchergross.
The Devils 4 points behind the Flyers with 2 games in hand. Martin Brodeur will not get his 9th shutout. Burke Henry from St. Rose, Manitoba, 2nd career NHL goal. 1-1, the Hawks are still pressing.
John, thank you, Brendan Shanahan. And the Red Wings will take on the Blackhawks as NHL tonight follows the game. It's coming your way, the NHL on ESPN2 Sunday. A week from now, 7 o'clock Eastern time. For more, log on to ESPN.com. Between that, bowl week. Capital One bowl week. It's football, baby.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. ESPN and ESPN2, you're home for bowl week. Got to check it out. And we're back to hockey next Sunday at 7 Eastern. Those Red Wings, battered by injuries somehow, still achieving excellence.
They've done a heck of a job because they have had a lot of injuries to some pretty major guys. And can they score goals, too? Whoa.
Andy Sutton banks off the far wall. Haven't seen a lot of open ice opportunities for Atlanta despite Stefan's bid. That was really on the Flyer giveaway. Short shifts here. And trying to bottle up the neutral zone with a 2-goal lead. It's been effective so far through the first nearly 12 minutes of this third period.
The Flyers are getting a lot more time in their own zone in this third period, except for right now with a turnover by the forecheck of Atlanta. But for the most part, Atlanta has sat back a lot more in the neutral zone and been very careful.
Recchi and Roenick crisscross. JR the pass to Recchi, then heads back toward the net. Return feed a bit ahead by a stride of JR. They cannot click. Recchi regains though near corner. Frank Cabaret takes it right back for the Thrashers. Kozlov lost the handle. Here's Savard, some speed. That's Petrovitsky with him, bidding for the hat trick. He's taken down from behind. Fans want to call. Yes, folks in Georgia, they are hockey-savvy fans.
There should have been a call there. I really think so. I mean, Petrovitsky may have played it up a little bit by going down, but his stick was tied up so hard there, he never got a chance at that centering pass from Savard.
Patrick Stefan takes it back at the red line. He'll flick into the offensive zone. Hackett steers for Williams with a burst up the right wing. Going Tremblay playing on. Weimert's again in his own zone. The Flyers have spent a lot of this third period in their own end, trying to get things going. They just can't get it up ice with much of a forecheck. Stefan trying to rake it free from the grip of Weinrich. And here's Kim Johnson. Hanzus on the move. Lobs into the offensive zone. Somit at center trying to regain. But again, it's either in the neutral zone or the Flyers. And that's all Atlanta's doing, just chipping.
Atlanta's showing they know how to play the defensive game, too. They're filling up the passing lanes. They're doing a good job. And that'll give Philadelphia anything coming up the ice.
Finally, Hanzus able to dump it in. Taken back to by Caberlet. He and Kovalchuk with a nifty pass steered on the near wing. To Randy Robitaille, clear back for Kovalchuk, charging through, and Janssen at the last second with a poke check broke up the play. I mean, it seemed like a second. He was from the red line to the circle in the offensive zone. Kovalchuk can absolutely motor, folks.
He just
has something to watch.
He steps on the gas as soon as he gets on the ice. That's what I love about him.
Man, Desjardins through traffic. Recchi was there. Nice play, Savard. Hand-eye coordination at a mid-air to knock that down. Then he'll clear it all in one motion. And Gagne lets it go through. Fists and Savard in the neutral zone. Skips across the blue line. Desjardins regains. But again, the time, the worst inning of the Flyers now as we roll down to 5 minutes left. And the moving third period clock. Change for the Flyers. They can get nothing going in terms of forecheck. They can't cycle. They can't do a thing in the offensive zone right now.
The interesting thing for Atlanta, too, is if you look at them, it's a no-name defense if there ever was one. There's not exactly household names that are playing on the blue line for the Atlanta Thrashers, but their team defense with the 3 guys back right now, and even the guys like Marc Savard, who's been brilliant offensively again tonight, has made some really good plays and been played well positionally defensively.
Step on to Blatney. Following up is McEachern, the team captain here in Atlanta. Really lost in front, and a close shot at a giveaway from McEachern on the doorstep. Well, he'll head off on a change. You mean to tell me Garnet Exelby isn't a household name yet defensively?
No, not yet.
Not yet, but maybe he will be if they play this way.
They really like the way that Exelby is developed. And as a matter of fact, Don Waddell, their general manager, said that he may very well be our #1 defenseman by the time the end of the year comes. They've all played at about the same level, but Exelby's a good, young talent. They like him a lot. They're playing him a lot, too.
Hanzu's cruising across the blue line, trying to get something going. He's played well here in this third period, trying to create for Philly. Leclerc, who has scored the goal for the Flyers, trying to center. Along with Amani, Hanzus can't get to it in front. Shuffles for Leclerc, but he couldn't tee it up. Johnson holds it in. The Flyers have got to take chances and pinch in with the defense now. Down by a pair of tallies here late in the third.
Well, has John Leclerc ever played the power game? He has been their most effective guy. Sometimes he's been all alone, having to fight through 2, sometimes 3 guys to get to the front of the net. But he's given Hanzus a couple of chances in this game, and Leclerc has scored 1 goal himself.
Weinrich's the touch-up, ice in the call. Flyers in trouble.
Tonight's grand prize Vale winner is seated in section 319.
ESPN HD.
Ronald Petrovicki's got 2 goals by going to the right place at the right time. He tried to go to the front of the net and he worked hard. There was no penalty called on that play. He could have easily had a hat trick, and it's been 205 career games for Petrovicki. He's never had a hat trick. He's got 2 here tonight.
We told you the defenseman will be pinching in, trying to create. Kim Janssen personifying that here for the Flyers. Late going. They need something quickly. Janssen at the point, outside that left circle. They pull the goaltender after attacker on the ice at 6-on-5 out of midair. The Hanzus shot was blocked. Empty net on the other end for Philly. It's cleared out. Desjardins can't hold it in along with Janssen. Down by 2. Kozlov's got 1 already. And he's got the gaping net to look at if one of the Thrashers can tee it up.
And that is bold. I mean, you're talking 3 minutes to go in the game. And the Philadelphia Flyers have got the goaltender pulled. They are pulling out all the stops. We'll see how Atlanta reacts here.
Recchi trying to change things quickly. 6-on-5. Leclerc nudging ahead for Kapanen, lost his edge. Back to Leclerc. Near corner boards. Kapanen. Roenick trying to find an angle, cannot. Sharnqvist looks for the intercept. Cross ice, Janssen charging in. Great save made. Rebound poked loose by Leclerc. On the initial stop by Defoe.
That was Andy Sutton who made a huge block in front of the net, too, on Janssen moving in from the point. Big save there by Sutton.
With the empty net, it's held in by Roenick initially, then finally cleared away by Atlanta. Vandermeer with just over 2 to go in the third period. Flyers in desperate need of something. And they've already pulled Jeff Hackett, the netminder. Here's Ragnarsson at his own end. Right now they can't get it out of their own zone. That's a problem. Intercept by Stefan, trying to fire it on the empty net, broken up by the Flyers.
That wasn't
will banker off the wall.
That wasn't a smart idea by Stefan either. He was on the wrong side of the red line. If he'd have missed, it would have been icing. You can't do stuff like that.
Ragnarsson fanned on it, trying to clear, almost a giveaway onto the stick of Stefan, which would have been the easy game clincher as it is. Just over 90 ticks left in the evaporating third period clock here. At Phillips Arena in Atlanta, cleared again by the Thrashers. Look at Kovalchuk with the speed, trying to outrace Johnson on the icing. Folks, he nearly did it. We're bringing back a very popular edition of the NHL back on ESPN2, January 12th, 7:30 Eastern. It's NHL Ice Picks, and you, the viewer, will get to choose which NHL game you see on this day. The choices are the Pens and these Flyers: Buffalo, Boston, Chicago, St. Louis. Here is how the votes have gone so far. Almost 38% for Pens, and these Philadelphia Flyers.
Yeah,
Ken Hitchcock, by the way, calling a timeout now.
Pretty close, though. Blackhawks and the Blues. Team moving up there. Did you see the afterburners kick in for Kovalchuk? If Kim Johnson wasn't such a good skater for the Philadelphia Flyers, Kovalchuk would have got to him. Coming up next, NHL Tonight. Thank you very much, sir, for bringing that song.
John and Barry in the studio eagerly await the end of our game here tonight. Ken Hitchcock has called time. As we mentioned, the Flyers have been in quite a slump, their worst of the year after their unbelievable start where they were 10-0, 2-0 in November. But in December, kind of back down to earth. If they lose tonight, it's 4-3, 3-2 in the month.
It really says something about the way the Flyers have played the last minute and 40 seconds or so, though, Dave. They've been playing with an empty net for a minute and 40 seconds already. They have not given up a goal against. A lot of times you see that backfire when goalies are pulled early. So the Flyers have had control of the puck, but they haven't able to get it by Byron Defoe yet.
Empty net for Philly off the timeout by Ken Hitchcock. We'll see what play had designed off the draw. Sent down by Caberlin. Desjardins fires along the near wall for Leclerc. Trying to cross the blue line. Leclerc offensive zone trying to tee it up for Recchi. Didn't see it though. Puck loose in the slot. Bodies everywhere. Trying to slide it to Leclerc. They can't find him. Not clear. Desjardins for Janssen. Extra attack on the ice. Kim Janssen trying to hold it in. Barely did. Play remains alive. Almost crept across the blue line. Roenick. Hansos tried to go in the top corner and missed the net.
That was missed coverage there by Atlanta. Hanzus was all alone in front of the net. That's his third scoring chance of the game.
Bouncing pucks of all. Petrovitsky, they're looking to get him a hat trick. Would be his first in his career with the empty net. Savard tried to find him. Something to touch up. It's ice by Philly. Disaster from the Flyers to ice the puck. Down by 2 of the empty net.
It was a blown coverage by Atlanta. They haven't had too many. Roenick's got his head up. That was a terrific play. Hanzus rushed the play a little bit. The pass was not perfect. It handcuffed him a little bit. He would rather that pass had been back on his left side a little bit more. He had to reach in front, and so it ended up sort of a chip shot, which went over the net. But it was a good scoring chance nonetheless.
Hackett has to come back out of the net. And back in and off the bench. Now they'll sprint off because the draw was deep in his zone. And another icing call against Philly. Well, 25.6 to go. Hackett's between the pipes again.
You know, they just tried to get into a foot race there, and Justin Williams has got some great wheels. He's disputing the call. He didn't think that was an icing call, but it looked like that was Philly's design all along. Just chip the puck down the ice, get it airborne, and get their guys with wheels. And this guy Williams has definitely got wheels. But nonetheless, it was Atlanta that got back first, so it was icing again.
Shots are 29-26 Atlanta. 7-2 Philly in this third period. Let's start 3-1. Thrashers hope it remains that way. Kovalchuk intercept. They go back to Kovalchuk. He scores! Oh, what a pass from Patrick Stepan! Highlight reel goal we better see on SportsCenter.
Happy, shiny faces all around. Look at this puck movement. I thought, everybody in the building thought, the Philadelphia Flyers thought that Patrick Stepan, right here, left side of your screen, was going to shoot, because Kovalchuk had set him up right in the middle of the ice. The prime scoring area, right there. That's what I'm talking about. He had half the net to shoot out there. He gave it back to Kovalchuk, and Hackett was just standing there going, "You're kidding me," as that one went in.
NHL best 21st goal of the year, Ilya Kovalchuk. Folks, if you haven't seen him before tonight, you've got to be impressed. A 2-point night for him. And a 4-1 final from Phillips Arena.
This was a game, actually, I expected that Atlanta would play it in this situation at home. They're up against the Flyer team. They want to show how good they are. They want to measure themselves. They came in with energy, enthusiasm, offense, and they took it to the Flyers all the way. Terrific game by the Atlanta Thrashers.
Atlanta in their home building making their season debut on the NHL on ESPN2, and they were incredible tonight. Red Wings Blackhawks are coming up next week, Sunday, 7 o'clock Eastern Time on ESPN2. Coming up next is NHL Tonight. It's been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. For more, log on to ESPN.com. Now for the entire crew, my partner Brian Engblom, it's Dave Ryan saying so long from Atlanta. What a night. for Kovalchuk, Kozlov, and the Atlanta Thrashers. Out of the studio, John Butchergrass and Barry Butchie. What a